Hello, this is my first video. My name is Stephanie. This is Jesus is my workout partner, buddy. I am writing because I just started a fasting, I don't want to say journey. It sounds so, I don't know, cliche these days, but I started fasting and I've seen a lot of videos of people that are fasting and having really good experience with it. Mainly for some of the health benefits of fasting as well as losing weight. I am in both of those arenas, but I'm going to add a third, which is spiritual fasting, which is something that I also am really interested in. So a little bit about me, I'm Catholic. I started doing Bible in a Year podcast with Father Mike Schmidt. So if you haven't done that yet, you really should think about it. It's life-changing. And there's a lot of talk about fasting in there. And so I have been thinking about it for a while and really didn't think I could go like a whole day without food. But I was very wrong. So I'm on my second week of alternative day fasting. So basically what that means is you say stop eating after dinner on a day, and then you don't eat the next day, and then you can eat the following day's breakfast. And it was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, especially the first one. There's some of the fast that I've done because now I'm on 2 weeks, so probably about 7 days of fasting where, you know, I'm like, oh, like I really want to do it, especially since I have to like make dinner for my kiddos and my family, and like it's difficult because you're like making all this tasty food. But it's been really cool. So far, I would say my first fast was like end of August, and I didn't do an alternative day after that, but I did it and I was like, okay, I think I can do this. I'm going to try it again. And I was talking to my sister and she wanted to do it. And so we're kind of on this attempt to try and work on it. There's like a bunch of groups and stuff on Facebook where people are doing alternative day fasts for like a year. And so, you know, and they've lost significant amounts of weight. As you can tell, I'm not the skinniest straw in the bunch. But I have struggled with weight my whole life. So I have been overweight since probably like 3rd grade. I'm not going to go into numbers because who really wants to like throw their weight out on a website? I'm 42 years old. And yeah, so I'm giving it a shot. So far, I think I've lost about 14 pounds since I started it. My first fast in August. It's now September 20th or 19th. And so I'm down 14 pounds in a month. I'm not, and I wouldn't encourage anyone to do this purely for the vanity reasons. In fact, that's something I'm trying to like get over, some of my vices and, you know, increase virtue in certain areas. So that's kind of a little bit of background about me. So let's talk about spiritual fasting. So that's something that I don't know a ton about, but I am working on. I did listen to this really good podcast yesterday talking about spiritual fasting, and it's kind of like you get like, you know, in Disneyland where you can get like the fast track passes and you can go to the front of the lines. And that kind of stuck with me yesterday when I heard that fasting is like getting the fast track seat before the God, and like getting an opportunity to be heard maybe a little bit earlier and putting yourself in a place where you are being heard. And I'm sure there are other people and lots of spiritual fasters out there that are way more advanced, and I welcome any sort of tips and tricks on how you evolved and developed your ability to be incorporating that into your spiritual practice. But I just kind of enjoyed that. I just like the thought of that, where you kind of get an opportunity to get a little cut in the line to be heard during your prayer time. And if you're not praying and fasting, you're kind of just wasting that like time before God. Like, who puts themselves before the God and just sits there and is quiet? I think the person said yesterday, which really resonated with me, was like, it's like buying a ticket to sit in front of the most powerful, world leader, and then just sitting there and being silent. So this is the first fast I've had since listening to that podcast. And so I'm going to try and be intentional about my prayer. I have done like prayers, I've been doing Bible in a year. I'm trying to say prayer more regularly, increase the veracity of my prayer life. But I'm going to really try and be intentional today, because today is a fasting day for me, to be really intentional about it, especially towards the end and when I break my fast, which will be tomorrow. So that's one thing I would suggest. I think it's the primary motivation. A secondary would be health benefits, because if you haven't learned about the benefits of fasting, what it does to you metabolically, what it does to you like inside the cells in your body, I would highly suggest checking out a bunch of, just typing in alternative day fasting, or just like a 36-hour fast, and all the benefits that you get from it. You get autophagy, which is like basically your body's internal cleansing mechanism, where it like searches through your entire body, finds all the dead and like zombie type cells, and like fixes them, gets rid of them, recycles them. It puts you into ketosis, so your body stops using sugar and glucose as its main source of energy, and it starts using your own fat stores. So I certainly am no expert. I've just watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I'm sure many people out there have done. You can learn a lot about a topic by watching some of the content that is on the websites out there, the interwebs. But there's a lot of medical studies to back it up. There's a lot of doctors out there that are really interested in it. But I highly suggest you to look into that if you're interested. So what's been my experience with fasting so far? What does a typical day look like? So a typical day looks like I have coffee. I have a very strong affinity for coffee. I've had it my whole life. Maybe since I was like 14. So like, 30 years or so I've been drinking coffee, and I've tried to kick it, and I don't know. I just don't really have the drive or the motivation to. I like it. It's like routine. It's part of my mornings. And I just enjoy it. So I'm going to keep drinking coffee until I am guided not to. Another thing that I think, okay, so basically I have coffee. I like to have like a shot of vinegar, like apple cider vinegar, in the morning, because there's another set of things I've been watching about, like trying to like reduce your insulin spikes. And one way to reduce your insulin spikes that I saw in this one video from this biochemist was that if you drink vinegar like before your meals, the acetic acid in it forces your muscles to absorb some of the sugar, and it can reduce your insulin spikes. I think she said by 40%, and I apologize if I'm incorrect. So we'll just say 25 to be a little bit more, because I know it was like somewhere in there. Other things that you can do to like reduce insulin spikes, is to have vegetables as your first thing that you eat when you're having a meal, followed by any like meats or fats. And then at the final stage, then you can have carbs. So I'm trying to cut out carbs a little bit. I find that I don't feel good when I eat carbs, and that's probably because I'm insulin resistant. So I do have PCOS, so that's something also to think about for individuals who do have PCOS and are interested in learning how to like maybe make yourself feel better, which means that like I'm insulin resistant, and there's a lot of like stuff that comes with that. Weight gain, like hair growth in areas you might not want it. I have noticed a reduction in some of that hair growth in 2 weeks, which is kind of nice. Also, I don't know if you can tell, but like my skin be looking real good lately. I feel like my wrinkles on my forehead are becoming a little less defined, which is just kind of like, okay, benefit. That's kind of neat. I really, so far, don't see any downsides to it. I went and saw my doctor yesterday, and she said that it's okay for me to have it. I don't have diabetes. So if you do have diabetes, that might be something to consult with your doctor. I'm not a medical professional, and so I would always encourage, legal disclaimer, to check with your doctor before you do it. But I did it before checking with her, but as I'm doing it, I checked with her, and she said that's okay as long as I'm listening to my body and doing what feels right for me. So right now this feels right and okay with me. So I think my biggest goal in starting this little channel is to find others that are kind of on the same journey path, and maybe see, learn, grow, and I don't know, maybe have fun. So I hope that all of you have a wonderful day. It is 8:27. I dropped my kids off at work or school. They're not at work yet. It's kind of like work. And I'm gonna go start my day. I got some appointments today I gotta go to, gotta pick up my glasses, things like that. But so far so good. So stick with it. Thanks. Bye.